gotta go. Now, I don't have rope to be doing this with, but I do have a small chain. And if I have to, I can get some rope, but we're gonna try it today with the small chain. Let's see. And I gotta come back quite a bit. So, we'll lay that there. I'll swing up on the tractor and we'll move her back. Alrighty, and she don't have a parking brake, so had to shut her off and leave her in reverse to keep her here. Now this one, you guys can't really see, but the bigger bush here, I actually cut off at ground level last year, and it came right back. So, hence yanking them out by the roots. Let's try that different. Go in there. Get the chain as tight as you can. Loop it over. Hopefully you can keep it down at the bottom. I'm going to try to tighten that up a little bit more. There we go. Well, let's see what she does on the small one. Try the big one, and if not, I'll get some rope. Alright, this is going to be a fun one. This one's got a lot of thicker stuff. That's why I didn't expect to get the little one, because it's all thin, fresh growth. But this one down here in the root area has all the bigger stuff that I cut off. So we'll see what we can do. And hopefully I don't have to get a rope. Well, I expect that to slide right up too. I don't expect that to work. There's just too much new growth. I can't even get hooked around any of the older stuff. Well, like I say, we'll give it a try. And if not, I'll be going to get some rope. I got the chain first because I have more use for the chain. have any rope that's of the appropriate tensile strength. I do have these old steel, braided steel basically, cables for the dogs that are wrapped in a protective coating. The idea here being, you can see how it has cinched on to the branches and pulled tight. The idea being that when I go forward with the tractor, oh yeah, the bush got me there, they stay cinched up pretty tight and yank right out of the ground. Here's hoping. Time to fire up the tractor and find out. I'm going to move this one back down to the bottom first though. Well, we cinch it up as much as we can without pulling it up. And that's where we leave it, and then we just slow roll the tractor. Here we go. So unfortunately, that's not going to work either. But I'll keep trying at it. I'll probably have to wait till later in the year when they have thickened up some more and the branches aren't so fresh and springy. As we're trying to get it done while the weather was nice. We have one nice week here right now before the weather turns back to nasty, wet springtime. So I'm trying to get as much done as possible. But let me grab you guys off the tractor here. Now you're not on a gimbal. I apologize for that, but I don't actually own one right now. So, what do we have? We have a bunch of wood. Some of it pretty sizable. Let me put my hand here for comparison. That's not huge, but it's not tiny either. And there are bigger pieces up there. So what this is, it's part of this tree right here. Right, son. If I go up, you can see right here, I had a section that was dead, and I had it cut out because it was split right there. And my cars are just off to the right. I didn't want it to fall on those. I also had a couple branches that were going over the house taken off. And then over the winter, in a bad winter storm, well, bad fall storm, this guy here busted off on his own and came down. And so he'll have to get, along with the stack there by the shed, get processed and stacked up properly. Since I can't get those bushes out, my next job's probably to get out the splitting maul and start splitting some of this wood again. Obviously I was working on it in the fall, but it's got to get done. And over here by the neighbor's house, well, by the property line, you can just see right in there his deck. I don't want to show his house. That's, you know, not my property. That'd be rude without permission. So I have an entire tree that was taken down. This dirt spot here is where the stump was at. I had him bring in a stump grinder, take that all out. And this is the remnants of that tree. I processed about a third of it last year in the fall. I need to do the rest of it. But as you can see, some of these pieces are absolutely massive. This has got a nice crack going in it, so it might split okay for me. I do split by hand, so there is that. And some of them, the tree service guys cut on funky angles, so that makes them more difficult to split. I tried splitting this a couple times in the fall. I didn't get anywhere with it. And then, of course, the main crotch of the whole tree where it branched off in 4 different directions, and that's absolutely massive. There's no way I'm gonna split that with a splitting maul very easy. It's just too big, too many knots. But that guy there, one in the back, that one's kind of a disaster because it was a crotch, and the way they cut it's real funky. I'm gonna have to come in with the chainsaw and cut that off even. You know, this one here needs cut in half, and then I can split it no problem. Got a bunch of smaller stuff that really just needs trimmed to length. Each one of these guys here, I should be able to get 2 cuts in to make 3 pieces of wood. As you can see, I got another one of those here, another one there, some smaller size of that same length, another bigger one there, a couple more smaller ones. There's a tree that I took down. It's a small tree, so I was comfortable taking that down. I just wasn't going to take down a big maple right next to my neighbor's property. That's just no bueno. And then this cherry tree right here, this guy, he's got to come out this year before he gets any bigger, while I can still do it. He's just barely on my side of the property line. You can maybe see this wooden flower box right here. The property line is like a foot this side of it, so that tree is about 3 feet onto my property. I want to get that taken care of. And my fire pit. Well, it's not a pit yet, it's just a pile. There's a cement slab here with an old wall on it. This used to be a shed of some kind, I think. I don't know for sure, but this wall is just rotten. There's nothing on the slab now. I'm probably gonna apply with the city for a permit to put a new building on this and get my yard maintenance equipment put in here. That way the primary shed here can be used for what it's designed as. You can see it's got a smokestack there and it's got windows and everything. It's really a workshop, not a shed. So because I'm storing everything in there, I can't work in there. It's full front to back pretty much. You know, snow blower, riding lawnmower, 2 push mowers, one of which runs, and that's what we use, and the other one doesn't. I'm working on it, or planning on working on it. 3 generators. You know, there's a lot in there, a lot of projects in there. And then there's this back here. This is a stump that, as you can see, it's got new growth on it, so I got to get that taken care of. I don't want that tree coming back. If I wanted it, I wouldn't have cut it down. But I got a little bit of wood left here to process too. And then along this neighbor's fence, there's just some other bushes and stuff that got to go, but they're not a big concern right now. The big concern is getting the stuff that actually matters done. This stuff's just cosmetic mostly. Looks like I got some garbage to clean up. Got some nice lilac bushes here and a couple of small cedar trees. I'll keep all that. I like lilac, it smells good. Got a leaf pile that I've got to clean up. It's pretty small. It's only here because there was a bunch of brush here. I've been digging through the leaves and burning that brush. And then we got my pile of wood that I got to get cut, my stacked pile of wood, stacked pile of punky stuff, and then next to it kindling. I burn a little bit of the punky stuff every now and then just to get rid of it, but this is my good wood here, and I got a decent stockpile of that. My dog likes to rummage in it every now and then though, because you know, you get chipmunks and mice and whatever making their homes in there, so he likes to get his nose down in there and start sniffing and scratching at the pile. You guys know Sir Alexander, you love him. He's a good boy. All right, so that is all of that. Got an old door there that I use as an outdoor work table combined with my sawhorses. There's an old piece of a shop vac my mom gave me last year. I need to tear it apart, take the motor out, chop off the cord. The cord's still usable, it just needs cleaned up. I can turn that into an extension cord. Pretty nice one at that. It'll get new ends on both ends. And this is her old printer that she also brought me. Now there's a lot you can salvage out of this. Some of it's probably going to be wrecked from being outside all winter, but I really don't care. I'll salvage the hardened roller rods, which are basically tool steel. and the motors. Pretty much all I care about out of this, the stepper motors and those hardened rods. Maybe some gears, I don't know, we'll find out. But for the most part, that's just gonna end up as plastic trash, unfortunately. All right, there's the sawhorses I was talking about. You know, got a couple of those. They are what makes the workbench with that door and the shed slash workshop. All right, running mower, wheelbarrow with plow blade for the John Deere garden tractor in the back. Got my leaf blower that runs. I got 3 weed whackers, weed whips, string trimmers, strimmers, whatever the heck terminology you want to use depending on where you're at in the world. They all run. I'm going to keep these 2, and that Red Max there, which is a commercial unit, I'm going to put that up on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist and get rid of it. There's a second push mower here. That one has motor issues. I am working on it. My air compressor, that works fine. Snowblower, that works fine. Some storage totes that I gotta go through. We're probably gonna just get rid of most of what's in that. But what you guys care about, what you want to know about, you know what, hang on a second. Let me try not to trip. Let's get some lights on the situation. Don't know why I didn't do that to start with. All right. Oh yes, and the kayaks up top. Gotta have some fun, right? So the garden tractor, that's what most of you guys are going to care about. I bought some brand new battery leads for it. In fact, they're right behind us here in the wheelbarrow. I think that's the problem with why she's refusing to start now. The positive battery cable's pretty screwed up, and the negative cable is moderately screwed up. So I bought 2 new cables. We'll just replace them both and call it good, right? Just be done with the whole kit and caboodle. Now, I don't know how well you guys can see them, but over here there's 1, 2, 3 generators. The front 2 here I had out earlier this week, and I got one of them to cough and sputter, so it almost started and ran. So one of them should be pretty much good to go. The one right here in front with the black fuel tank on top of it, that one is possibly also a runner, but when you turn the petcock on for the fuel, it starts leaking fuel out of several connections. So that's a whole disaster that I'm gonna have to fix before I can do any more on it. And then the one in the back I haven't even started working on. You can kinda, on top that white box with the red lid, you can see a stack of stuff. Those are parts and tools for working on the John Deere. There's a brand new muffler, brand new vintage steering knob. I already replaced the starter switch, which I just noticed I left on. That's brilliant. Good thing the battery's not hooked up. I was messing with that at the same time I was messing with the generators and this mower again, just reminding myself where everything was at. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Got a jury-rigged car stereo with some old computer speakers for my music out here. And yeah, otherwise a mess because I don't have enough room. Anyone who is wondering what all of this is, the foam insulation board in a couple different thicknesses, some Luan, which is a type of really thin plywood, that is all for my model railroad. That is what you build your tables out of if you know what you're doing in this day and age. The Luan is just there along with some 1x3s underneath of it as bracing to form the very base of it. Then you put the 2-inch foam on top, and then you can cut 1-inch, 1/2-inch, 2-inch foam, you know, whatever, into different shapes and stuff to make your terrain contours. So that's what all that's for. Unfortunately, because of the disaster with my plumbing, I had to put all of that on hold and move it out here from the basement. Sad day there. Yeah, what else can we chat about real quick before we go? Over here, got 4 bottles, and there's 2 more in the car that I still got to get out, of Shell Rotella T1 30 weight oil. You can get the T1 in straight 30 weight and straight 40 weight. Everything that I run all calls for 30 weight oil, so this is great stuff. It's a little on the pricey side, but it protects your equipment, and you can run it in pretty much anything and it'll be happy. which is why I run it. On top of it, I got a nice Wix brain oil filter. That is for the John Deere. I'm sorry, not the John Deere, the Farmall. Jeez. For the Farmall, she does need an oil change. I'll be getting to that in a couple of weeks. She's not going to get a whole lot of run time between now and then, so I'm not real worried about it. She's got oil. It's just old. I think that's pretty much all there is to say, guys. So with that, I think I will sign off and get back to work.